Well, if you keep up with these videos twice a week, you may be a little bit confused, but fear not. Let's talk through some of the evidence we've seen because SpaceX may be in for a static fire do-over. Now, here is a ship stand on August 2nd, a couple days ago, moving over to the OLM, or just the LM, the launch mount. Some other equipment is going to move around here. There's a LOX booster quick disconnect hood. This one's going to pad 2, so not the star of the show when we're talking about those Ship 37 static fires, but it looks like a deer stand rolling down the road. It's not quite a Jawa crawler there. In any event, we're going to talk a little bit more about the confusing things happening at Pad 1 after we catch up with what's happening over here at Pad 2. Here we are. 2 static fires per the last video, and they are disconnecting the propellant lines here. Those temporary flexible hoses with the little plate adapter. It's the ship SD. It's the slow disconnect plate. This one is not being disconnected very quickly. It's being disconnected very slowly, but they're removing it, right? That was the interface they were using for the flexible lines on the Scorpion tail coming around the left-hand side of the launch mount there to connect those propellant lines to the ship. So, here we go. We've got that all unattached, detached, I guess would be the right word there. And we're going to move in those chopstick stabilizers. We're going to lift up the ship, true Lion King Simba style here. And the setting sun, wow, actually the setting sun is a cool look as well there. Could pause a little bit. This is destined for the ground, for the transport stand, actually. But Caesar's going to get us some nice close-up views here. Some tile work remaining. None of this is really the critical feature here, right? Look down at the bottom. You can see there's a lot of tiles missing there, and some of that underlayment sort of flapping in the breeze. The Raptor vacuums make their appearance there again with the stiffening rings. And it's just hanging out there, like quite literally hanging out as the sun sets. But I think, did Caesar just run around every direction while this thing was hanging in the air, getting all these different cool shots of it? I appreciate you, Caesar, because Caesar's like out of breath, lugging a camera around, getting all the cool shots to put here in the video. But eventually we do see Ship 37 dismount from the mount. I guess it's actually lowered would be the right terminology here. Wow, that's really good lighting, Caesar. That looks really cool. Look at that. It's a great contrast, the dark background, and then you get really good lighting. Like sometimes it's a little blown out when it's daytime, but that intentional lighting on those tiles really made the tiles sort of pop. All right, so ship gets down on a transport stand. We're going to hop back over to Pad 2. Remember, these videos are sort of chronological. They're not necessarily only in... They're not trying to tell a coherent story here. It's like the order of operations that things happened. But here is Ship 37. Late at night, rolling back, Cutie's moving on the tower, Chopstick's going back up, Ship 37's exiting the launch site, because it's got to wait for traffic there or something. Here we go. And it's going to turn, and it is going to roll all the way back. Now, this is what we expected, right? They did a 1-engine static fire, great success. They did a 2-engine static fire. Looked okay. We got a couple tweets from SpaceX on the matter. And so we figured, all right, this ship's going to roll back. They're going to undo that work they did. And the next thing we're going to see is a full stack preparing for launch, right? Well, here we go. The ship, as expected, coming all the way around the bend over here past the office building, making its way back to the production site. Those palm trees are looking okay now, I guess. Got some Starbase Live robotic camera views here. The underglow on the SPMTs. You know, I'm looking at this and I wonder if I can't guess who was doing this tracking just by the way that I see the motion of the camera moving. Knowing the interface on these cameras, hey, SQR1, and sort of how you move them, and some people have some other different tricks or skills for moving the cameras. I really wonder if I couldn't guess which operator was doing this, the way that it's panning and tilting smoothly at the same time. The things you notice when you watch enough of this footage. Luckily, that truck was out of the way. But God, that great contrast on the tiles again. It just looks really cool. The way that a little motion there, messing with the bit rate. But here we are, all the way back took the long way around, ended up at the production site, right? Open up the garage. I don't know if this video is going to show it rolling. Ah, there you go. Yeah, rolling in, scoot a little bit to get it in, and there you go. You're done. Let's attach the lifter. We're done with this thing, right? It's time to launch it. And even here, right, you got pad, well, not even here. The LR 1100 crane, I hope I got the number right, moves over the pad, and they start to deconstruct the pad. This is what we expected, right? They're going to take out that adapter, they're going to take out the temporary lines, and they're going to reconfigure this pad for launch so that you can put a booster here instead of a ship. Now, tell me down in the comments, have I talked this up a little bit too much? Because it's like, all right, just get to it. Well, this is the entire process. This is what we thought, and I have a little bit of precognition here because I watch Starbase live on a daily basis. It ends up on my main TV down in my living room, and so I'm getting lunch, walking by, whatever, and I see what's going on. I sort of keep an eye on things. But there is the adapter, went down on the stand, rolls away. Crane leaves pad 1, goes back to pad 2, right? This whole shooting match, good deal. Now we're going to do a lot of scaffolding and lift work around pad 1. We're going to remove all the lines and stuff like that. I mean, here's the static fire adapter coming all the way back to the production site. Now they're done with it. They're going to store it until they need it for Ship 38. They can't do Ship 38 right now, right? Ship 38 needs work. It needs engines. It needs blah, blah, blah. So let's just get this thing out of the way and let's launch our rocket. Yeah, I like how that says no SPMT, but it's like clearly sitting on the SPMT. I think it's the orientation. It's like not a step. That part is not load bearing. So sometimes I wish the old houses on the HGTV had their walls labeled that way, like load bearing wall before you start the renovation. Anyways, I digress. Stand comes all the way back for storage. Everything continues to seem like it's moving along towards launch. Here, look at all the ants swarming on the launch mount, removing, undoing all the work they did. They're scaffold up. They're taking hoses off. They're removing lines. It's just like the entire thing is coming apart to make this thing reconfigured for launch. Is anybody confused yet? Super confused? Okay, here's another thing that you have to do. They took all these clamps out, right? And they needed to install the booster clamps that actually connect to the clamp. They had to get those clamps out of the way. I said connect to the clamp. Connect to the booster. They had to get those things out of the way so that they can put the booster there. But then, record scratch. I'm not going to try to make a record scratch. We see clamps come out. And instead of installing all of the clamps, they start to remove the clamps again. And all of a sudden, we're looking at this like, wait a second. Is there something wrong? Are they not lining up? Why are you, check this time lapse, removing all of the clamps? You need these in order to put a booster onto this thing. What is happening here? Now, there's a booster transport stand even. It's rolling around in the background, right? But it really looked like they were going to go ahead and get the booster out there, and then all of a sudden they started removing those clamps. So more to come. We're going to look into the 12x speed Nosecone notation. Nosecone rotation would be the English way to say that. Here it is in real time. I know a lot of times people down in the comments ask, like, oh, tell us how quickly you're time-lapsing it or whatever. So there you go. That was 12x, and this is real time now. Before we get back to the shenanigans that are happening out on pad 1, going to go through the Starfactory here, looking at some nose cones again. Pan all the way down the line. Ship 41. Is that, no, I don't see the flaps on that one. Was it the other way? I'm looking for something specific here. No. That's not it. That's 43. These things like go all the way down. Maybe I didn't see it in the first part. Huh. Aha! There it is. Ship 39's nose cone. And you can see the flaps installed, little triangles on either side of it there, pointed out in Starbase Update. That's the first time we've seen those V3, Block 3, Turbo, Extravaganza, whatever you want to say, ships with the flaps on them. But not a huge change, but it's just interesting. Is that a pool noodle taped to that? Tell me that is a space pool noodle. It's a space noodle taped. Huh. Anyways, moving right back along, there's a lift going up into the dark here. They're cleaning this? They literally have a rag and like a work light up there, and they're wiping the outside of the Starfactory? What are they applying, like, oil to it or something? Huh. Anyways, all right. We haven't checked in with all the things happening out at Pad 1 with the static fire. We haven't checked in with the Giga Bay foundation work, so we're going to get some footage of that real quick here. Digging some, is that the outer parts of the foundation? Maybe they're starting to prepare. In any event, oh, yeah, not expecting it. The huge blur going in front of the camera there, it may not surprise you to learn that that is the ship adapter leaving the storage yard at the production site and going back to the launch pad. And so now we have two bits of evidence that we're sort of looking at here, right? They stopped putting in the booster clamps, and they started removing them, actually taking them back out. And then this thing leaves the storage yard and comes back to the launch pad again. And the only reason you do this is if you were going to put a ship back on that pad. And so all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a second. Is there something wrong with 37 and it needs to come back again? Oh, some Raptors real quick. Yeah, there's also Raptors happening. But was there something wrong with the static fire? Like the data looked okay, but then when they got the ship back and started to look at it, it was like, wait a darn second, what's going on? Are these RVacs related to that? Right? Did they get back and start to take it apart and look at it and say, wow, ship 37 needs a thing? Or is it ship 38? Is there's some delay and they just need to run ship 38? And they said, wow, let's just put it back together and just get that done. Oh,
extremely loud venting
hey.
From the Pad D QD tower in 1 minute. Extremely loud venting from the Pad D QD tower in 1 minute. Hearing protection is required.
Now, time out. Wait just a dang minute. Pad 1-2 numerical fans in shambles because the official PA at Starbase just referred to a Pad D at Masseys. What are the pads numbered? 1, 2, Roman numeral 3, and then letter D? Is that how they number the pads? Where the heck is Pad C anyways? Is that another pad at Masseys? Okay, back to this. So we're putting the adapter back into the launch mount. And is this for 37? Because they need to test 37 again. There's some sort of problem. Is this for 38? Some delay in 37 meant they had time to get 38 out of the way, so they're going to slap the rest of the work together on it, get the engines in, and get it over here to get it tested. Good question. But with the work on the engine sort of happening around 37, I think the current thinking is that it looks like 37's got to come out and do another test. And we all know that this is shenanigan-y, janky. It's not really designed to do this. And when you're firing these rocket engines, you have all sorts of different forces in play, and this stand is really not intended to deal with the rocket engines being fired on a test basis like that, right? With the adapter that they put in there. So what the heck happened? Those little things just sort of hanging out there. What the heck happened with Ship 37 that they need to roll it out here again and test it again before they can fly the thing? Any way you slice it, it's going to be a delay of some number of days or a week or something like that. And who knows if they bring it out and fire it again, was firing it on the wacky stand what caused the damage? Are they going to hurt it more because of the sort of field expedient solution they had here? By the way, that thing's the mega bunker. Of course, there's a label on it that says it's the mega bunker. Don't think it's going to block any of the views, but I know this one sort of rambled all over. It's almost like we need a focus video on the shenanigans happening. I think I've said that word too many times for this video out there at Pad 1, but we will keep you up to date on what's going on. Watch Starbase Live, watch the detailed updates, and watch the summaries here. My name is John. Appreciate y'all listening to me ramble about what's going on, and we will see you nerds later.